Today we're putting together our full build, and I've come in to show you how to put together the upper receiver itself. We've got 3 bags, so we got 8, 9, and 10. 8 has your hollow set screw, 9 has your charging handle assembly, and then 10 has your back door assembly. So we'll start with 8, put these to the side. In order to install the hollow set screw, you take it out of the bag, right there, and you use a 3/16 Allen. I'll just get this started with my fingers, just like that, and then I come in and get that nice and tight, just like that. And that holds your gas tube in place, so it's not like wiggling around inside the upper. Next, we'll move to bag 9, and if you've bought a charging handle kit from us in the past, this will look familiar. This is pretty much exactly how we ship these. You've got your cover, you've got a button cap screw, you've got your charging handle itself, you've got your transfer bar, you got 2 pointed set screws, and then you've got your detent. Oop, they're running off, and a spring that holds the detent down. I'll also take out the charging handle. So this is the detent assembly, as opposed to the latching, which we also send out, and that'll come in the kit very similar. It's just there's some roll pins you need to punch through and stuff like that. We'll be working on this side where the slide goes. So you'll take your slide. I insert them from the front, just like that. Make sure that it's nice and smooth. Then you're going to insert your transfer bar. You want to make sure that this slot is facing down, because if you face it upwards, it won't function. So make sure that slot is downwards, and now it works. Then you'll take your detent and slot it into that hole there. And now you're going to take your handle, put it on, and then what I do is I'll take my, oh, by the way, these are all 1/8 Allen. We'll set these in place. You take your button cap, because that'll hold everything in place while you're working on the other 2 pieces. So that'll go there. The spring goes in the front hole on top of the detent. Take one of your pointed set screws. You press down on that. And you're going to take this just to flush. And that'll be the appropriate amount of pressure. So run your finger over it, and it's a little proud still, so I'll take that down a little more. Right about there. That's good. Then you'll take the other set screw, and this holds your transfer bar in place, as otherwise it'll wiggle around and it might not actuate the bolt carrier group correctly. So you take this until it's all the way down, make sure that's nice and snug. And then I'm also going to just go ahead and give that a nice little turn. And then you can do a function test on it. Make sure that it goes in and out of the pocket. And then we'll move on to the last bag, bag 10, for the bolt carrier door. We're going to go over to the bench so I can actually get some grip on this when I'm putting the roll pin through. Alright, so we moved over to the bench so that we can install the back door. That'll be in bag 10, and it has the roll pin, the back door itself, and then it has a spring and a detent. This white nylon detent. It's a little different. Here, I'll show you. It's a little different than the detent that was in your charging handle. So I'll take all these out, put them on the table, hope they don't roll off. And the first piece we're going to use is the spring here. And this is going to go into the hole right back there. Slide that in. Then we're going to use a detent, and then we're going to take this also into that hole. And you will notice that it does not go into the hole all the way. It sticks out. That's good because it needs some pressure on the back door itself. Then we're going to start our roll pin into the side right here. We're going to use one of these hollow punches and put it in there. Bring it up here, and then grab a hammer out of the bench. We're just going to get this started so that it's a little easier to work with. There's that. Now we're going to take our back door. We're going to install our back door. You may need to push a little hard on the back door in order to get it into place, because you want to line up those holes where the roll pin is going to be going through. And you can see I'm lining up the back door with the rest of the part. I'm just going to do a little tap, get it started. So now it's retained. And then I'm going to take a punch and drive it in the rest of the way. And you're going to want to take it just past flush. The roll pin is shorter than the overall distance. So I'll just take that and go right about there. Perfect. And now your back door is installed. The next step is we're going to be installing a barrel. This is a MozTech 6 arc barrel, 1-in-7 twist. This is going to be a lot of fun to shoot. We're really excited to get out and play with this. You're going to need to make sure that the pin here lines up with the top of the bore, and ooh, it's so good. And then you're going to be using bag 11, and bag 11 has your barrel nut and your adapter. This is your handguard adapter. And so you're going to take your barrel nut, and you can see how you've got the two holes here that hold on your handguard. You're going to put the castle towards that, and you're going to install this. I put it on my thumb and just spin it around because it makes it so much easier. Just real fast. And I take it pretty much all the way till it stops. There's an end to the thread in there. And just take this until it stops. There is a install tool that will be sent with it, this here. And so ta-da! You're going to take your adapter and you're going to slide it over your barrel all the way up to your upper, and you'll thread it on. Now, if you thread it on all the way, the gas tube channel will be off center. And so you need to back it up a little bit. And then you'll take your handguard tool, put it in there, and you'll get it right snug. And then we'll be torquing down on this in a little bit. Right snug. So the channel lines up with the hole. So your gas tube can go through into your upper. So we'll torque this down. I'm using the 30 mil, whatever the imperial equivalent is, that's great. And just make sure it's lined up, and perfect. And then now we'll be moving on to assembling the gas tube and gas block. It's really simple, but I'll need this vise for that. So I've put the gas block into the vise. It's going to make installing the gas tube much easier. So you got your gas tube. It has a through hole here. Let me show you that. It has a through hole here, and it has the gas hole on the bottom. And so you're going to want to make sure that you don't mix these up and try to punch it through and mess up your gas tube. So the gas tube has that hole on the bottom. That needs to line up with the port on the inside of the gas block. And so you'll just bring that in right there. And then you're going to take the roll pin, which comes with your barrel, and you're going to install the roll pin into that hole. And sometimes you need 3 hands to do this, but we'll make it work. Just like that. So now your gas tube and your gas block are together, and we'll be installing that onto the upper. All right, so I've returned the upper back onto the vise, and I'll be installing the gas tube, gas block assembly. And so the gas tube needs to go through that hole where we put the hollow set screw, and this slides right up to the hole. And you want to make sure that it's seated completely to the shoulder. If you don't, you're going to have a lot of gas leakage, and it's going to cause some problems. So you want to make sure that it's snug all the way up to the shoulder. And then this barrel is dimpled, and so as I screw in the bottom of the gas block, it'll center it up to the barrel. So I'm using a 3/32 Allen on the bottom, and I'll just tighten these up just like that. Just like that. So now our barrel and our gas system is installed. Next, we're going to do our handguard. To do our handguard, we need bag number 12, and this will have all of your screws, your button cap screws. These are different than the one that's on your charging handle. These are coarse thread because it's steel going into aluminum rather than the fine thread, which is steel going into steel. Don't get them mixed up. It'll cause you a headache if you get them mixed up. So we're going to take these out. We're going to take our handguard. This is just one of our standard handguards. And we're going to slide this right on. And then there's 8 of these screws. And I'm just going to put them in finger tight at first. And then I'll torque them down in a minute. And these are also 1/8 inch screws that were on your handle. And don't forget the 2 on the bottom, or the 4 on the bottom, I should say. In my experience, these get nice and carbon locked when you start shooting it. But if they do walk out, don't be afraid to put some blue Loctite on here, because that would absolutely hold it in. Now, your upper is pretty much complete. We're just going to need to put a muzzle device on here and then get the bolt carrier group put together, because we'll need to change out the standard cam pin for our cam pin. So, on to that. So the last steps are coming together. We're going to change out the cam pin on the bolt carrier group. This is a standard cam pin, and as you can see, it's completely flat across that face. Our cam pin has this nice shoulder here. That's to keep it from falling inside the charging handle track, and this is required for function. If you try to run your GIBBZ upper with this in it, it's going to tear the crap out of your upper. It's going to be awful. It's going to get stuck. It's going to be a bad day. So we're going to install this instead, and I'll show you how that's done. So I've just removed this, the standard cam pin, and I will be installing the GIBBZ cam pin. So make sure that your bolt face has the extractor on this side and the ejector on this side. So the extractor's on the right, because this is a right-handed build, and the ejector's on the left. Then we're going to take our cam pin, and I like to see it as like a little seat, and it points forward, and you're going to put this down into, kind of have to line up the holes like that, and then you turn it and bring it forward, and that'll lock it in place. Now we're going to reinstall our firing pin, just like this. It goes all the way in, and then we're going to reinstall firing pin, retaining pin. So that goes right back into the hole it came out of, and sometimes you're going to have to use a punch or something to get it to go through the other side. So it's fully seated. You can see that the pin has extended all the way through to the other side. So now, functions properly. So we'll take our upper, make sure that the back door is open and that your bolt is extended. You go into your upper receiver, and then it just cammed into place. And now, you may notice that this is a little different. Because this is a short barrel, we're going to be using a pistol brace. That way this is a pistol configuration. This was not a rifle configuration. You're going to pull out your takedown pins, put in your front takedown pin. It's a little stiff because we just built it. There it goes. And then as you go to put your rear takedown pin in, make sure that your back door is seated down, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of gas to your face as you're shooting this. Seems to be working. Thanks for watching, coming and hanging out with us. Go ahead and subscribe for more of our stuff that we're going to be putting together. Thanks for coming around. See you next time.